Welcome to the 7th video on Microsoft Surface and Windows 8. In this video we're going to focus on Microsoft Office 2013 ships with the Surface, and then also desktop mode of Windows 8. And so up until this point we've been pretty much working completely in the new modern interface of Microsoft Windows 8. But there's actually another mode called desktop. You can see there's a tile down here where you can go directly to it, but in general you're not going to do that too much. You're going to go to an app that still requires the old desktop mode. With a modern app, if you start one, for example, Maps, the way that you can sort of recognize it is that it takes up the entire screen. There's no borders around the windows. You can't resize them, anything like that. There actually is a way to allow two modern apps to share the screen at the same time, but in my opinion, it's only useful in very specific circumstances. I'm going to save that for a later video. But going to go back to Start here, and if you scroll over to the side, you'll find that all of the home and student apps of Office are installed, and so you can actually click on Word, and it's going to launch Word 2013. This is a version of the Surface that came out before Office had shipped, and so it's a preview version, but it seems to be fully functional. And I guess the plan is that they're gonna push out the RTM version when it's available. So when you start up Office for the first time, you're going to see this new Start page, and all of the apps have it. Basically on the side here, they're showing recent documents you've used. There's then an option to open other documents if you don't see the one you want to start, or you can pick a template to start things out. And so I'm just going to start with a blank document for this one. Now, you'll see all the icons you're familiar with up in the corner here. You can actually hit the minimize button or the restore button, and we'll take it down to a window. And now it's a window that you can move around. As you probably know from Vista and Windows 7, you can do things like you can drag it over to the side to dock it to the side, or if you bring it up to the top, it's going to maximize the window. Pretty much whatever you were used to doing, you can now still do, except you can do it with touch or with the mouse. And you'll also see desktop mode apps actually show the desktop behind. And then you've got the task pane at the bottom. You've got the little icons over here for network and battery. It's the full desktop experience. And so if this is something that you like, you could use this while you're using Office apps. You can even open up Explorer. The one we've been looking at has been IE 10, but you can open up the desktop version and you can have the two apps on the screen at the same time. So just another option. And then if I want to start Excel, you can just click on the icon down here. So I'm going to start up a new document here. So I've only been doing a little bit of playing with this, but so far it looks like every single feature that you have in Home and Student on a desktop is also available on the Surface, and so you should be able to do almost anything you would normally do. And I'm just going to type in a little bit of information here, that's just so I can show a couple features. So if you can't see that, one nice thing too is you can actually, again, use the stretch gesture, the pinch gesture, to zoom in on things. So I've made this bigger here for a second, just so you can see. So typing in cells, nothing special there. Also supports formulas though, so I can do that times, let's say, I wanted it to be 10% of whatever's in that field. And I don't think I showed this yet. You can actually tap and hold to get the context menu to show up. And then I can pick copy, pick the cell I want to go to, and if I want to make it go multiple cells, these little circles here allow you to extend the selection area. And so I can pick however many cells I want to copy it to, tap and hold again, and then hit paste, and it's going to copy that formula down. I'm going to zoom out a little bit just so we have a little bit more surface to show. And now I'm going to select the whole table, and then I can do insert, and then let's say I want to do a line chart. And you can see it's created the chart for me. I can now expand the size of that so it fills up the whole page. So everything I ever use seems to be in these apps, pivot tables, you name it, all the different formatting options, which is really cool for someone that uses Office as much as I do. This was another thing that just shows me this is a full PC. It's just in a really nice form factor. Now, some of the other things that you might want to know about the Office apps here is one difference between the earlier version is that they're not showing the ribbon by default, but it's still there. So if you click on these ones, the ribbon will come down. You can actually use this pin icon on the right-hand side to make it stay there if you want it to, but I like that it goes away. If you're finding that even with this you're not getting enough desktop space, you want to get even a little bit more, there's a little icon up here which basically will maximize it, and it even gets rid of the menus, and it just leaves you with a couple of dots in the corner. And then you can click that again. This is basically the mode though that will keep on disappearing. If you want it to stay, oh, I hit that too fast. If you want it to stay, you have to hit it another time, because you'll see the little full screen icon is green. You want to hit it one more time so that it will now go back to the normal and always show the menu up there. So a couple little tricks. The other thing I had shown you is that if you want to search for an app, for example, Notepad, if you want to run it, it's still there. Any of the apps that you run that aren't modern apps will also be started on the desktop. So we have Excel here, now we have Notepad. It all sort of shows up as it would on a Windows 7 machine. If you go in, I'll go back to the one here, and I had shown in an earlier video that you could do Windows X to show some of the administrator tools, and let's say you wanted to start a command prompt. Well, that's also going to show up on the desktop. So basically your desktop allows you to do all of the things you normally did. The one limitation that you have on Windows RT, which is running on an ARM processor, is that you can't install your own Windows 32 apps. You can only install apps from the Windows Store. And so there's a bunch of utilities that are built into the operating system. There's the Office apps, but you can't actually install any other. Every other app you install from the Microsoft Store is going to be a modern app. But when the Pro version comes out, I believe that restriction is lifted. It's going to be running on an Intel processor, and so you can run pretty much anything you want. But you can switch back and forth. You can either use the Windows key to go back and forth between them. There's the desktop icon that you can take a look. Copy and paste works between the different versions. But it's something that might just sort of throw you for a little bit of a loop when you first take a look at it. For me, as someone who's into technology, it shows me a whole bunch of possibilities. This is sort of cool that it can run all these different apps, and it still gives me some of those features that I like on the desktop, especially this docking application side by side. That is something that I use a little bit still. And like I said, there is something similar on modern apps, but I'll save that for the next video, so stay tuned.